Malik.
Oh.
What's up, brother?
Chilling, man. Just made it to Miami last night. Excited to be here. Was at the practice. A lot of fun, a lot of excitement. So appreciate you for letting me on the podcast.
Of course, bro. Hearing a lot of things from practice.
Yeah, a lot, to be honest with you. Kind of what we talked about earlier, just the size of the offensive line. I think that's one thing that, at least in the past when I was at Miami, difference between SEC and ACC was never the skill guys. Like South Florida's always had really good receivers, DBs, things of that nature. But, I feel like in the trenches we're losing, and now you look at all the 4 and 5 stars Miami has. We talked about Bell, the 6'9" freshman that is at Miami. So I think a lot of stuff when you're talking about winning up front and winning where it matters, I think they're definitely doing that.
Yeah, dude, I saw a video of that guy on Twitter. It's literally insane. Like he dwarfs everyone.
No, he does, and
but he's not a freshman though, is he? He's a JUCO.
I think he's a freshman. No,
I thought he was a JUCO guy.
He's a freshman?
I think he's a freshman.
Yeah, I think so too. I think when I was in the locker room, they were like, "Yeah, he just came. I think a freshman or rather sophomore. I don't know, but I know he's young and he's."
You're a first round lock at that point. Yeah, that's hard to mess up. I feel like.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah,
and you have one of the best offensive line coaches in college football.
Oh yeah, Mirabal,
if not the best. And
probably the best.
And then Cristobal his background is in offensive line. Yeah. So it's like, it's probably the best setting for him.
Which is good because I know, over the years Miami has kind of struggled with having a good offensive line, and getting kind of like the bigger guys. So it's kind of good to see where getting the 6'9", 6'8" guys transfers. Yeah. So it's good. I think Coach Cristobal always he's making it a point to start build the team from the trenches inside out. And I think you could tell last year by our running game and how well that's been going. So definitely think their team's going in the right direction.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the difference is, and it really does start up front, but like in the past, especially when I was here, you'd always have those like O-line, D-line, they would, come out to like practice or you have the coach like, oh, I need you guys to like take these guys out to South Beach. But they were never really considering us. They just want to have a good weekend. Now the fact that Mario was able to win battles versus, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, I really do think that gives us a difference. I think those were the battles, especially up front, that we were losing, that now we're actually flipping kids, from like Justin Scott committed to Ohio State, flips to Miami. That was something in the past that it was always opposite. You always had the 4 or 5 stars committed here, and then by their senior year, they're flipping to another college, going somewhere else, and we're like, man, it would have been so nice to play with this guy. So especially up front, I think that whenever you can show a quarterback that you can protect them, whenever you show a running back, hey, I can create lanes for you, whenever you can show a linebacker, hey, I can keep guys off of you, you can show DBs, hey, the ball's going to come out quick. Now it makes me want to go there, but again, that all starts up front. And I remember the best team, at least I personally ever played, was the 2017 Clemson team. They had 4 first-round, defensive linemen. To me, that's something that you can't replicate. That's all recruiting, and that's all, the ability for basically the guy across you to be better. And so I think in a lot of areas, at least where I look at, okay, where do you want to start? Where do you want to be good at? Up front is the best, and I think that's one thing that at least is flipping the narrative of at least where our strengths are.
Yeah. So, so kind of going off what Mo said, they went to practice today. From the third practice for spring, but did any players stick out to you where you're like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna have a really good year? I know it's early. Springtime is where people kind of, earn their position, earn their spot, and kind of build their confidence up. But anybody stick out to you?
Yeah, there were really 3 guys. So one we've already talked about him, Bell. I think just because of his just pure size, he's someone that physically stands out. A guy to me that's been growing on me because, to be honest with you, I think Xavier and Jacoby George got a ton of spotlight. Is Isaiah Horton? That guy is a lot bigger than what I thought. His routes are really clean. He does use his hands very, very well, which I love to see. And then a guy that's young that I think should get playing time is JoJo Trader.
Yeah, I heard about him.
Yeah, he had a couple of big plays today. At least had 1 touchdown. He had a block where not only did he take out the corner, but he took out the corner and the safety that was coming in to make the play.
Oh, wow.
And you kind of know how it is when young guys come in. Especially for the receivers, it's never the route running, it's never the speed, it's always the physicality part. Like when there's, a 6'2", 220-pound safety flying down, are you going to step in that lane and, fill that hole and kind of crack block, or are you going to kind of move to the side and let your running back get plowed? And so I think when you talk about the physicality part of some of the young guys, it's at least there. That's not the reason why they won't play, which is a good sign. Now it's more about study your playbook, know kind of the attention to detail so that you can kind of perfect your craft now. So I think there are some young guys this year that should get a lot of playing time, and I think that helps us. Again, one of the reasons why we got, Justin Scott and even Armando Blunt was because of the Ruben Baines. You know what I mean? You were showing a freshman that's playing All-American, and now I think we kind of need that on the offense side. Like, who's going to be that, that young freshman, kind of like the Amon Richards, like, who's going to be that young guy that kind of takes over that, now the offense can say, hey, to be honest with you, I think one of the biggest missed was Jeremiah Smith. I know we were really close, and
he's the 5-star. Yeah.
So,
today.
So he signed, and he never really reported his papers, and he kind of kept on to it because Mario was kind of in his ear. And again, I'm glad we're there, but again, those were the battles that, again, the past we weren't even in the equation. But I think the difference is you can look back at the track record, especially at Ohio State. They're putting in first rounders. They're having All-Americans. Like Miami needs to start doing that at our skill positions, and that allows us to be able to beat out, the Alabamas and the Ohio States for especially kids that are in South Florida. Now, if you're losing out-of-state battles, I think that's a little different. But when you allow Ohio State to take a 5-star out of your backyard, it does sting a little bit because I think he's someone that is physically gifted, and obviously with the right coaches, I think he'll definitely be a first rounder.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's a freak. Yeah. Can you touch on that recruitment a little bit, because I know like in the Twitter circles, like there's a lot of speculation. It's like what happened, what didn't. I don't know if like you have any kind of inside info, but he was a guy, like him and JoJo were supposed to come here. Was it like a money decision? Was this like NIL?
No, I don't think it was NIL. I think Miami is at least the way they're set up, they're fine. There's no one like, oh, like we can't touch them or like we can't pay them. I'm pretty sure Cam made like $975,000, almost $1 million. So
is that what it is?
I think that's what Cam Ward made coming over. So at least the money's there.
I'm surprised a different team didn't offer more.
Yeah. Right? I think it's about
Don't you think Ohio State could just say, okay, here's 1.5? Because they surely would have taken Cam over Will.
I think so too, but I also think that Cam was just in a boat where he didn't necessarily know. And I also think that Ohio State, especially for Ryan Day, and I think it's kind of a similar position like Mario was in. It's like, hey, like I got to win now. I need a quarterback. And do I take my chances on a guy that's 50-50, or do I take my chances on someone that wants to be a college football player, wants to be at Ohio State? And again, you want a guy that wants to be there. And obviously Cam wanted to be at Miami, which is why he left and said, hey, I'm not going to go to the league. I'm going to come back. But at least for Ryan Day, he had to solidify a quarterback because last guy had it just didn't work out. He had his ups and he has a good game. Notre Dame was a good one, but then he had games where the offense just didn't click. So Ryan just needed someone. Hey, who can I function with? Because I have dudes around you.
Someone solid. You know what I mean? That's the most stacked roster in college football.
And that's just
if
really
they don't win
needed.
A championship, then that's like Ryan Day should not be there.
So I don't think he necessarily needed I think Miami needed Cam Ward more than Ohio State did. If that makes sense.
1,000,000%.
Because Ohio State at least is
Ohio State could win. They could keep Kyle McCord and probably still win a national championship.
Yeah, and they will, or at least compete at a very high level. And I think for them, they just needed someone that could make a couple plays, not have turnovers, and kind of keep us in the game. Because their guys, I mean, they can catch a slant and take it to the house. They have really good athletes there.
Yeah. Wow, dude, that's crazy. The transfer portal world is just nuts, dude.
Yeah, I mean, what's even crazy about it is like the Iowa situation. So you have like Proctor, that's Alabama. He starts. They tamper in the portal and
they called them or something.
Yeah, and then they slap. Oh yeah, we're doing self-imposed violation. Sorry guys, we broke the rules, but we're gonna punish ourselves. But yeah, we're still gonna keep this.
He said it in an interview.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Well, I didn't see that.
So Caden Proctor was like #1 guard or tackle or something coming out. He's like this generational offensive line prospect. Was committed to Iowa, I believe, initially because he's from the Midwest. Alabama flips him over. And then like halfway through his freshman year at Alabama or something like that, he does like an interview and they ask him like, are you considering transferring? And then he's like, yeah, like Alabama just called me last week. And like he was just being honest, but he wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah.
And so like there's all these, is that the right story? Something like that,
yeah,
right? What's up, boys? Check it out. Today's podcast is brought to you by a game changer and something that has personally helped me on and off the field, the brain boosting supplement, Try Neuro. This is not your average nootropic. Let me break it down for you guys. TriNeuro is here to tackle neuroinflammation and neurodegeneration head on. Basically, it's going to supercharge your brain, and if you've played football or any contact sport like I do, it will protect you in the long run. And even if you haven't, it's proven to improve things like memory, cognition, and creativity. And get this, price-performance ratio is unmatched. It's like getting a Ferrari for the price of a scooter. Plus, it's not whipped up in some random dude's basement. TriNeuro is the brainchild of world-renowned neurosurgeon Dr. Javier Figueroa. Sourced and manufactured in the good old US of A, so you don't have to worry about some shady overseas mystery labs. Plus, it's on its way toward NSF certification, so that way you know there's no mystery ingredients. It's just some great American brain power. Now let's get back to the episode.
So it was like right before he put his name in the portal, apparently the offensive line coach from Iowa had a really good relationship with because he was committed.
Yeah.
As he was kind of like on the edge, he basically was like, oh, yeah, even the whole time through my process at Alabama, the Iowa's coaches were texting me, telling me, good luck this week and shit like that. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And so obviously they had pre-contact before we went to the portal, which is technically an NCAA violation. So they were like still like talking back and forth. And they kind of knew that he was on edge. So like, oh, if I keep messaging the kid, they'll know, hey, we were here the whole time you were at Bama. We stayed by your side, kind of et cetera, to kind of push him to go to Iowa.
Yeah. So where's he at now?
Iowa.
Yeah, he just transferred to Iowa, back to Iowa, because he was originally committed there, and now he's back at Iowa.
Yeah, so he played a year at Bama, and then after that year, he transferred and hit the portal and went to Iowa whenever Nick got done.
Dang.
So Cam Ward looked pretty good in practice?
Yeah, man. I mean, to me, he looked the most comfortable. The biggest two things that I'll at least say is that he gets the ball out very fast. He is very, I'll at least say, content on taking the underneath stuff. And you as a quarterback, like you hit one or two slants, you're going to want to throw a seam, a dig, something, a little push the ball down the field. Taking the underneath stuff doesn't seem to bother him, which is big in college football, especially you look back at kind of what TVD saw, the 3 down, drop 8. And that's something that he's probably going to see this year. Even with those different quarterback, they're going to still think, hey, can Dawson, the OC, can he put you in consistent spots to kind of beat this, drop 8, cover 3. And Cam showed the ability to do it. He plays Wisconsin. They kind of ran that versus him. But I think that's going to be the biggest thing is, can he keep taking on these stuff? And then secondly is his leadership ability. He was talking to receivers. I saw him, talking to different guys, very active guy. Someone that, as soon as you walk on the field, even if he doesn't have the name Ward on the back or have a jersey that's different, you can kind of tell like he's a leader. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's something that it's hard to replicate. It's something that you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Especially for him coming, across the country from Washington over to Miami. It's not an easy locker room to take control of, I promise you. And the fact that those guys seem to very much enjoy his presence, are very confident in him, is something that I think will definitely carry over. And not only will it help him, but it'll help the guys around him kind of play at a different level.
Yeah, that's what you said, D. You were at practice, and you said, like, he was kind of like he was talking trash, like he was interacting with everyone. Because that's hard. You're the new guy. Just kind of like the way, and like you said, Miami's a different kind of locker room, too. Yeah. Like, this isn't, we're not Richmond.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think as a quarterback, coming into a new team anywhere, it's hard to kind of, gain respect in the locker room. But I think
it's hard anyway.
But you can tell by, the way he can, kind of conduct stuff during practice and stuff. He definitely has respect to other players, defense and offense. So, I'm excited for the year. I went to practice too on Tuesday. So, I think it's going to be.
I think the 2 job's going to be really interesting too.
I think the 2 and the 3 job, because I will say this, even if, at the beginning of the year, let's say it's Reese, right? Let's say Reese is the number 2 guy behind Cam. I think even if it starts as Reese, it could flip and become JB at some point. It can flip and become Emory. I think that, at least with the second job, it's going to be something where each week, because the competition is so fierce, you're going to have to prove to me why I should keep you as a number 2 job, because to me, I think that they all have a very unique kind of quarterback playing style. Like Jakari is definitely like your full throttle. I can run zone read, outside zone, QB run, kind of all that. Yeah. Reese is almost like in between. He will run, but he's a little smaller guy, so he doesn't want to take a lot of hits. And then there's Emory, which is more like your pure pocket passer, can kind of move, but that's not like his strong suit. And so I think that's like the biggest thing is not these guys aren't basically the same replicated quarterbacks. They all have something that they're good at. And I think each week they kind of have to show, hey, like this is what I stand out at. This is what I'm good at, showing consistency. I think that's going to be the biggest thing is showing them that, hey, even though Cam leaves, like I can basically keep kind of the energy going, keep everything going because I'm consistent. I think that at least when I watch a lot of them, understanding that, taking a check down is fine. I think that was the biggest thing that like Mark Richt told me was that, you don't need a big play every time. So we had James Coley, which I love him. He was at South Carolina. Now he's at Georgia now. But Coley used to always have this saying called change the game. So he would scream it, hey, change the game, make a play, scramble, like do something to extend the drive. Rick was very much about take what they give you, minimize risk, understanding that it's the long game. Like if we can be in the game in the 4th, we'll probably win it.
Just managing the game.
Yeah, and that was his big thing. Allow your athletic ability to make plays, but don't basically live off of it. Like understand, like if you were basically unathletic, how would you function? And then whenever you have to make a play, obviously you make it. Like don't not make a play. But that was the stuff that I learned. There was a couple of times I will say today that they threw the ball down the field. I was like, you just got to eat that. Like take the sack. I know it sucks. I know no one wants it, but it's better than a turnover. It's better than, lofting one up in the middle of the field. And I think that's the stuff that, they got to show Mario that I'm not going to do that because we've seen Mario will go in the portal and find a quarterback. So if you can't show him throughout this too, I mean, if you can't show him week by week that he can basically trust you with his offense, he's going to find someone that he thinks he can trust. And so I think that's the one thing that these guys have to get through their head is that, I am an extension of Dawson, and I got to show them that, I can be the best version of myself each and every week. It's not only on Saturdays, it's Monday through Friday, especially when you have a fierce competition like these guys do.
Yeah, and what do you see with Dawson? Do you think he's a pretty creative offensive schemer?
Yeah, I really like Dawson. The two things that I will really say is I don't know if it was last year, and I think I had a combination to do a little bit of TVD, a little bit of year one on why I just felt like the offense was a little bit simplistic. Yeah. Not necessarily on the quarterback, I would say, but more like, I was kind of there with Rick whenever your first install, you're very vanilla. You're trying to just make sure everyone kind of is on the same page. Everyone knows your signals, everyone knows plays. And then I remember, when Brad left, year 1 to year 2 was a lot different. We were able to add stuff. We had pump, which was like more double moves. We started adding, more formations because now guys kind of knew base concepts. So now that I'm changing, formations, it necessarily didn't matter to them because they understood, hey, slay is slant flat. Whether I'm the inside or outside, I know the concept. And I think that's more what I'm hoping to see is that, they kind of highlight, hey, we've had guys that are here for second years. They should know the offense. Now let's do more formations. Let's do more bells and whistles. Let's not be, as just as stagnant, which they did some good job.
And you have a guy who can move too, so that adds another element.
I think that does help. I think there's some times where last year, especially like in the pass game, if the passing routes didn't beat the defense, then Tyler's basically stuck because he's not a mobile guy. But I think this year with Cam, even if you do run the perfect coverage, where sometimes defense, they just run the perfect coverage. You got to tip your cap. Right. He's able to get out the pocket and make a play. Something happen. And I think that's something that's going to be a little unique. And I think that's one thing for me as I was watching the receivers today is, who basically plays through the whistle. Because, again, it's a lot different whenever you're not a mobile guy. Hey, I'm running a post and I'm running and I see the ball's not coming. Well, it's probably not going to come to me. Yeah. You got a mobile guy. Okay, you're running a post. Oh, crap. He's scrambling to the right. Now let me break my route off and come back to him. Now you might be catching it 20, 25 yards downfield. But I think that's going to be the biggest things as the receivers kind of, understanding, how fast he runs, kind of how to get in sync with Cam. Because I think the scramble drill is going to be something that can be very fun and very useful for us this year.
Yeah, it's just so hard to judge, I think, like you said, because last year with the whole Tyler situation, and, dude, I think he's a first-round talent. I think he's a dog in terms of, spinning the ball. I think everyone's kind of just trying to figure out, what happened after – what game was it? A&M game?
Georgia.
Well, no, it was UNC.
After Georgia Tech game? Or UNC? Was that kind of because he was balling first few games.
He played pretty good versus GT. I think he had a couple turnovers, but it was really the
A&M game he balled too.
He looked really good versus A&M. But I will say too though, and again, I don't know if it was whether it was the install, but if you go back and really watch the way we attacked A&M, at least that mindset wasn't the same when you go back and look at UNC, NC State. Now I will say the last game of the year, I can't remember who it was. I would say that game plan was probably the closest to that Texas A&M one where it was vertical. It was a lot of hey, we're going to motion guys to create matchups.
Yeah. And do you think they're just a lot more aggressive early on?
I do, and I think that whenever you're with a quarterback like TVD that is a little bit in his head, but someone that is definitely a vertical thrower, getting him comfortable early while taking your shots, I think was something that at least Dawson over time kind of figured out. And I hope that to me is the biggest thing is figure out what Cam's comfortable with. Don't wait until, game 4, 5, 6. Figure it out in the summer. Yeah. So that from the summer to the fall, that's all you're doing is working on stuff that he's good at, which it looks like they have. I've definitely seen some new formations, some new shifts, stuff that, I kind of saw that he ran at Washington State, which was more of a pure air raid, which I think kind of, falls back into his
He had Rolovich, right? Or was that before?
Yeah, I think he had Rolovich.
Yeah.
I think so it was.
Yeah, they were spinning the ball.
We played him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they spin it, and again, I think he has enough good talent. Xavier Shepard made another free catch today.
Dude, I saw that corner where he kind of he threw it too skinny a little bit. You saw, the one where he kind of made him right. That was a good catch.
So he had that one, and then today he was running. I don't know if it was off a scramble or what it was, but he was running, and it turned almost to a wheel route, and it was kind of short and slightly inside. And you see Xavier just kind of turn around and grab it with one hand. It's just falling backwards. So, he's making plays all over the field. And I'm just honestly glad that he's back. I think he's someone, whenever you talk about having young talent, the biggest thing about young talent is kind of keeping them focused. Letting them know, hey, it's not a 1, 2, 3 game season. It's a 12-game season. You got to show up every week, and it's hard. Yeah. And so I think that, having him in that room definitely helps a guy like Cam. Again, Cam's trying to learn. He's trying to communicate with offensive line. And when you have a guy like Xavier that, hey, it's same thing with me kind of with Braxton. Hey, I know that if there's something wrong over there, I don't necessarily have to go address. Now, if I need to and I feel hey, I have to, I can go over there. But I know that if let's say the receivers are having a bunch of drops or like they're not running and they're not doing enough effort, like Xavier's going to say something. The same way like Braxton would kind of say, hey, guys, come up, like, let's get our shit together. Like, let's make sure that we're the best that we're supposed to be. And so,
vocal.
you know what I mean? And it is different whenever you're a new guy coming over and you feel like you have to turn more into the bad guy instead of who you want to be. Because, again, Cam has a certain standard because, again, he wants to go to the NFL. So he knows what your practice look like. He knows, you know, where he needs to go to kind of get to where he wants to go. And I think half of that is having good leaders around you guys that, you know, you can kind of trust and say, hey, like, you know, obviously I run the offense, but I do have kind of my leaders in each group that kind of helps me out. So I don't have to do it every day, all day. I'm not like, you know, more of a pest. I'm kind of like a guy that's like, hey, I motivate everyone instead of like certain groups.
Yeah, dude, I'm curious to see what you think, but I think this like upcoming Miami team expanding to a 12-team playoffs, like I think that's a lock. I really do. If Cam plays the way he did last year, I don't see a scenario where they're not the best team in the conference.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I would just say I think the biggest thing is, and it's one thing that I slowly learned in 2017, and it's a little different now, especially like NIL and money, is that when you're winning and you're winning big here in Miami, people are gonna know you. So do not get distraction. Yeah, man, it's hard. Like whenever you're losing, it's cool. Like you feel me, it's whatever. But like when you're winning, like it's
gonna get crazy.
Yeah, I turn my phone like on do not disturb because I'm having like promoters hit me up. Oh, like we got a section that lives tonight. Like come through. It's a Sunday. You feel me? Or like, I'm honest, like I had like I had like old alumni talking about, yo, what's up, man? We got all these people at the section, like come through, great win tonight. And I'm like, nah, I got practice. But like I know some people that would go out, and that's gonna be the biggest thing is it's like you gotta understand, especially here in South Florida, like it's not going nowhere. And I will say, like I partied on the off season. You know, I'd go out, you know, once or twice a month. But understanding kind of where you want to go, like what made you get into football? Were you here to party at Miami? Or were you here to get into the NFL? And kind of saying, yes, you can have your fun, but don't allow the fun to kind of become a distraction. So, again, the more you win, the harder it is. And so I think these guys have a chance to be a very special team. But half of it's going to come down to, you know, do they have self-control, not only on the field, but off the field
It's hard, bro.
I agree.
It's hard.
I agree. You know, we kind of talked about it with Ja'Cory.
Yeah, we talked about it with Ja'Cory Harris last week. He would go out and then like go straight to practice from the club. So.
Yeah, no, I literally, especially like I'll say deep in the guys, I'm not gonna say who, but they would literally be doing like, so we had Swayze. They would go out like on a Thursday night. I think they would go like live or somewhere. They would come back, and the strength coach would literally smell like liquor. And they were like, as long as you can get through practice, we're not gonna say nothing to you. But if you throw up,
that's crazy.
We're gonna mutt you. Like where you have a week straight sand pit, and guys would really go get drunk and then come back and be at practice. They just smell like liquor. And they were able to function. How, I have no idea in that sun. But there are definitely guys that could do it. And it's like that team wasn't as just so like talent wise, especially when I look back at like 2014 year. I mean, you talking about Denzel Perryman, Deion Bush, Rayshawn Jenkins, James Cole, or Stacey Coley, Philip Dorsett, Clive Walford, the Feliciano, Shane McDermott, Eric Flowers, Duke Johnson. I can go on and on, even second string guys. That team had more talent, but lost less than my 2014 team did. Huh. If you go back and stack like guys that are in the league, guys that are still playing, like I got teammates that never made the league, never played in the league, but like they understood like where we wanted to go. And I think that's the biggest thing. You guys were locked
in. Yeah, you're saying that 10-win year?
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing was that we weren't the most talented team. Like there was teams that were definitely more talented than us, but like at least mental preparation, understanding like, hey, like the partying is going to be there. It's funner to party when you're winning than it is when you're losing. So there's a lot of stuff that really helped us was, you know, having certain guys like myself, Braxton, Amon, kind of say, hey, like, you know, we kind of run this team, but that's not only run it on the field. Let's run it off the field. Like I'll never forget, we beat FSU and the whole team's talking about going to party, and Chad Thomas turns around and he goes, everyone's going partying but you're going home. We got a game next week. And so it was kind of cool. Like we let each other party, but we definitely held each other accountable and said, hey, we're going to have our fun, but we're not going to let our fun distract us from kind of our goals. And, of course. And that's unique. And that's something that is hard here. Because again, it's not like Tuscaloosa. Like I have my, one of my brothers, his name's Trey Donaldson. He's at Auburn, and it's a lot different. You know, there's really nothing to do. There's a couple bars, but it's not like here where there's some of the best clubs. Yeah. I mean, you talking about all the events that go on around here, spring break. Crazy. You know what I mean? Like you can get in all type of trouble. So it's just one of those things that where you just kind of got to understand why am I here and what are my goals, and don't allow the fun aspect to kind of distract you from that.
How crazy was it at the height? Like you guys beat Notre Dame, ranked 2, like college football playoffs. Like what are those nights looking like? Like who's hitting you up? Like, what are the moves? Like, bro, because it's, like you said, it's Miami. And, like, Ja'Cory Harris mentioned it last week. He was like A-Rod, Jay-Z, and, like, they weren't ranked second. They were, like, top 5.
Yeah.
So it's, like, since 2003, like that was probably the height of like Miami Hurricane football.
No, it was, and I would say I didn't have those type of guys. It was more like John Beeson, who I love. But Beeson used to always hit me up. You know, he'd have some celebrities with him, and then I'd have like some ex-NFL guys. But
Casually, just Drake.
yeah, they'd be like, hey, not Drake. He actually did come here my junior year, so that was that whole like Drake video. I actually almost I ain't gonna lie to you, I was almost gonna cuss him out in the DMs.
Why?
Because the whole to get to from practice to kind of where we had to go, you have to pass that little rat, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Kind of where he did it at. The problem was there were so many people, I had to technically walk around. I was almost late for class. Well, football don't care about Drake being there. I was going to have sunrise, and I was going to be pissed if I had sunrise because this dude's here and basically half of the campus.
This dude is crazy.
Yeah,
Not Drake. He said this dude.
Yeah, you feel me? Like this guy. I mean, again, I love Drake. I think he's definitely one of the best artists ever. But yeah, I was gonna be pissed. I mean, at the time, I care about Drake, but no, I want to get to practice. I'm not practicing. I want to get to class. Like I'm not trying to have sunrise.
Yeah.
Sunrise sucked, and they don't care that Drake was here, and that was the reason why I got stopped. Like they weren't you at class, and so yeah, that was almost one time when I almost started some beef with Drake because I was almost late to class.
You're about to hit him up?
Yeah, I was about to. I made the class by
You could
1
have
minute.
tweeted at him. That'd be funny.
Yeah, because like the checker, she was waiting there, and like there's certain classes that we have checkers. There's like 8 football players in the class. Like
Yeah,
you got to be
you
at
know
that
your class is gonna
Yeah,
check,
so
yeah.
it's like I'm not. If there's one class I'm not late to, it's this class.
Right.
And so yeah, I was almost late because of him. So
It's funny, bro.
It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, dude. I asked Brad like what I should ask you, like if you had like any funny stories or something.
Man.
He said I need to ask you about your house, like you, Braxton, and Brad.
Oh, that house, man. That house was interesting. I will say that I knew Braxton was smart, and obviously when he graduated, he was a valedictorian. But I will say, man, this guy was a smooth talker. I would say there was someone that I would say that like probably pulled some of those beautiful girls I've seen. It was Braxton.
Really?
And so for me, like Braxton used to come home at like 4 a.m. like late. Oh, I'm at the library.
Cat.
Bro, no, he was at the library though. But now I was like, no way, at the library.
That was the move?
He was not the move for girls, but he was really studying till like 3 or 4 a.m. And it was like an ongoing joke that like, nah, bro, you at the library for chicks.
Okay.
And obviously he was the valedictorian of the business school, which is not easy at all.
I didn't know he was valedictorian.
Yeah, he's smart, man. Probably one of the smartest people I've been around.
Oh, wow.
But he was valedictorian of the business school at UM. So I was like, okay, so now you're validated on those 4 a.m. mornings.
Yeah, grinding.
But yeah, some of the stories I can't say. I got some people that I don't want to throw on the bus.
crazy.
But the house was fun, man. You talking about?
Was that like the football house kind of?
Nah, not really. There was another guy that lived right down the street. So Braxton wound up moving to that house. But the football house was actually Scotty's house.
Yeah.
That was the football house. So like we would do more pre-games. I actually
At your place?
Yeah, my place was right down the street. But Rayshawn Scott had the house. It was Rayshawn, a guy named DJ, and I can't remember who else was living there, but it was literally like the trap house that we threw parties at. It was
Like Blue Mountain State vibe.
yeah, like downstairs. I'll never forget. We had like Chad Thomas DJing downstairs.
Major 9.
And then we had half the other football team upstairs playing Madden on like this like big screen TV. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I will say after we left that house, Braxton for sure had the party house. His
Really?
house. Yeah, he had like a pool. Like I remember like jumping off the top of his roof into the pool, which was
that's
not
fire.
smart. But yeah, we used to all type of like pool parties at Braxton's house whenever he moved. But yeah, I mean that house was a lot of fun. We had kittens. I can't believe we had kittens. Braxton.
You just had a bunch of kittens. Is he a cat guy? Is that why?
No, that was actually for girls.
Oh, really?
That was definitely for
So
girls.
that's the move.
That yeah. I mean animals in general. Girls love animals.
I feel like girls like dogs more.
I have 2 dogs. They do love dogs.
Yeah, there
more.
you go.
But again, especially when they're not cats and they're kittens, it's a lot different.
Yeah, a little kitten.
Yeah,
and you bring
not-
it up in conversation, and it's like, hey, like, why don't you just
Come see my
come
kittens.
check it
Yeah,
out.
like I
Yeah.
literally,
That's a move,
like I
bro.
used to like. I used to,
Scent moves is crazy.
How is that said?
I literally just come out in the room. There'd be like 2 or 3 girls just playing with our cat. I'm like, yo, like what is?
Just Braxton in the middle and like just 2 cats.
They'd be like, yeah, I mean,
2 girls.
no comment, no comment. But yeah, no, the cats was definitely what he used. But we wound up getting rid of them. Technically, we weren't supposed to have cats, but Brad had this cowhide carpet that they really enjoyed using the bathroom on, and it was like right under our kitchen table. So like we would come back and the whole kitchen is just smelling like
That's nasty, dude.
yeah, and cat.
Yeah, cat. Yeah.
It smells
Just
bad.
that-
Yeah, it
smells
does.
like piss and-
It does. And they're mad about it. Yeah, so I think we put like salt and like some other stuff, and they were kind of mad at us because they used the bathroom on, and then like the whole butthole started to burn. We got him back. I was not letting them just use the bathroom anywhere they wanted to.
Yeah, dude, Braxton's blowing up now with his girl too.
His girl? Yeah, no, I'm happy for him, man. You know, he's someone that, you know, I obviously he helped my career in Miami football, and I think he's someone that as like a workhorse, definitely again one of the smartest, but just, you know, he just outworks everybody. And I tell a lot of the quarterbacks that I work with is, you know, especially in the NFL, but when you get to college, everyone's freakish. You know, whether you're tall or
Miami,
fat,
everyone.
or
You're
strong.
giving us the stereotypical Mike Mayock draft day, the small white receiver,
But like
grinder, first guy in, last one out.
But he is though, and I mean,
It's funny because Bill took him too.
yeah,
With the
and
Pats.
Yeah.
it's hard to find guys like that. You know, a lot of, again, by the time you get to college, a lot of guys just rely on their athletic ability. And obviously, I mean, Braxton was fast. I remember looking at his numbers whenever he came out of the like Nike Spark Camp. I'm pretty sure he had the fastest 5.10.5. He ran
really?
like
Fastest shuttle, yeah.
yeah,
ever.
the fastest shuttle.
Like 3.94.
It was something crazy.
No way,
I swear to
dude.
God, bro. Look it up. It's something crazy.
Dude, that might be one of the fastest like NFL combine times.
I don't know about that.
What are they running now?
I don't know.
sure.
I don't know if they really
Dude,
do that. I know they do
3.9's
at the pro day.
3.9's
I know they do at the
crazy.
pro day, but he
3.9
definitely
is crazy.
But like coming out in
Good.
2014, he had the fastest like 5.10.5. His 40 was like a 4.544. Like he was rolling, so he was fast.
Yeah, no, he's
but
fast.
again, like to get open in college, you actually got to understand coverage. You got to understand like their leverage. You got to understand what you're attacking and why.
Football IQ.
and I think that was the biggest thing that really separated him. You know, really his junior year, especially with me. There was a lot of trust. There was like times where, to be honest with you, he's a smaller guy, so I couldn't see him sometimes. I just kind of understood where he was going to be, and he kind of understood, hey, based on my break in practice, the ball should be coming now.
Yeah.
So there was times like that I think that he really not only helped himself, but I'll be honest, there's times where like he would look over at Jeff Thomas, be like, yo, you got to post. You know, and there's things like that
Okay.
that like that goes above and beyond when you talk about, you know, getting guys open, helping your teammates around you.
Yeah.
That to me, I know people in the league, like there's times like Malcolm Lewis was like, yeah, I'll never forget. I was at the Dolphins. I'm lining up, we're in a bunch, and he goes, I forgot my route. I look over and I go, yo, you know my route? And he said both of them looked at me and they looked right back up and they were like, nope. And they just kept going. And let's say obviously they knew, but he was like, just when you get to NFL, you don't find people that actually want to help you out. And that's one thing that I at least credit Braxton was that he was never like, you know, afraid of competition. He was never afraid to help the guys around him to kind of make that room better. And I think whenever you're talking about creating culture and having a locker room, he's someone that definitely like amplifies that.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, you do. And again, he's not someone that's going to like wow you with his size, but like when you talk to him, when you talk about football with him, that's when you're like, oh shit, dude, you definitely know what you're doing.
The crazy thing is Braxton was actually my quarterback in Little League. In Little League. So I thought he was going to play. So, you know,
You were playing receiver and he was your quarterback?
I was playing everything. I was
Debo.
so this is kind of back. We're both from North Carolina, both from Raleigh.
Okay.
So we played Little League together. I think he was probably like 2 or 3 years older than me. So I was a little bit chunkier dude. So I played defense, like defensive end, whatever. This is a fast, athletic guy, but you know, we always thought he was gonna be a quarterback. But then obviously, as he, you know, he only like 5'9", 5'10", maybe. You know, he never turned into a quarterback. But you know, it's just always cool to see, you know, someone from your hometown come and do their thing and ball. So got a lot of respect for him, you know. So hope he continues to show out for
I
the
think
city.
he'll be there for a long
city.
time. Yeah, no, I think he'll be with the Dolphins for a minute, to be honest with you. I mean, he had a great year, and I think this year was kind of just a build on for next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, I think he's a trust guy. You talk about guys in the league, especially as a quarterback. If you have guys that you can trust to be in the right spot at the right time, that's half the battle. Because especially, I mean, you know, in the NFL, it's timing throws. You got to hit throws between certain times, like whole shot, 12 to 22 yards. Like you have to know where to be at what time. And I think that's one thing that at least Braxton understands is, hey, how do I get into the mind of a quarterback so I can be his best friend?
Dude, that's so underrated. Someone who's quarterback friendly, I think.
is.
You know,
And
'cause,
no, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think a lot of people think quarterback friendly like size. You hear, oh, he's like
No.
6'6". He's a big target. No, like
knowing where to sit.
He knows where to be.
Yeah,
at the right
I can
times.
trust this guy.
Yeah, like I can almost close my eyes, go 1, 2, 3, hitch ball, and if I'm in the general area, he's going to be there on time. And that was kind of what Braxton provided me. And then I was blessed with having Amon Richards. He was just super freakish, you know, take a slant, hitch to the house. So I had a guy that I can, you know, kind of fall back on, and a guy obviously I could trust him on, but a guy that was just an absolute game changer.
Yeah, dude, Amon's a beast, bro.
Dude,
like it's so sad what happened. Because like
Yeah,
he
it
literally was a first round guy. Like every mock draft, top 15, top 20.
And he was different. So me and Amon lived together. Amon was a very interesting guy.
Dude, he's bro. We had him on the pod,
love Amon.
and the last probably like 40 minutes, we were just talking like random conspiracy theories. It was great.
Nah,
like
I
we
love
weren't
him.
even talking ball, bro. It was awesome. We were talking about like the pyramids, dude.
Yeah, no, he had
He's a deep thinker about just a lot of different things.
He is, yeah.
Cool guy.
Well, so and what's unique about him, he's definitely a visual guy. So whenever we lived together, it was funny. He was dating this girl named Lexi. She was a great girl, but I was like, first off, she really likes you because she would sit there and watch him watch highlights of different NFL receivers for at least 3 to 4 hours.
Really?
Oh my God. They would sit there all day. Like
You would just sit there?
I would just literally hear highlight music the entire time. And I'm walking in.
Tavon Austin's West Virginia tape?
Yeah, no, I swear to God, like OBJ, Julio Jones, just watching routes, studying those guys. And he would tell the girl, like, if you want to be with me, like, this is what I do. Like, you're going to have to, watch it with me. But yeah, she would sit there for hours and he would literally watch just nothing but receiver stuff. Oh. So it was really unique to like live with him because it was a different mindset to see, hey, like for me, like I'm more, I was writing stuff down, but him, like he would just watch highlights over and over again. And he kind of incorporated
There's something to that too,
stuff
honestly.
that he watched. Yeah. And he was one of the first guys that I see that, for at least for me, like I would study a lot of like opponents. I would watch myself. But he was really studying other guys' technique and kind of trying to incorporate that into his game.
Yeah, that's probably more for receiver kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like
for
different
sure.
releases, like how you want to run.
Yeah.
No,
That's
definitely
big. He had a really cool story about like how he got the job his freshman year. And he was, because I mean, that receiver room was stacked.
That was really
and even like freshman class was stacked. Like Deontay, when he came in, it was him and Sam.
Sam was
And
good.
we talked about it because he was probably the third in terms of like being well known and like hype. Like Deontay and Sam were like the big names coming in. Okay. And so he was like, dude, like the only way to separate myself is to just know the plays. And so he was getting taped. I think like he had like a foot injury or something. So he was out that day and like they were doing the treatment on him like 6 a.m. And then Rick comes in like out of nowhere and this dude's like half asleep. It's like he woke up at like 5. And then he's like, hey, what do you have on like, X over, Z, whatever. Just like he just named a concept and he just gave him every single progression and he just kept asking him, answering, money. And he said like since that day he rolled with the ones and he never looked back.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, especially when you got a guy that's as gifted as Amon, it's kind of the same thing I think about JoJo Trader is, can you learn the playbook? Can you not be a liability? Not necessarily, are you going to drop a ball or do something like that, but do you know where you're supposed to be? Do you know it's not even like, hey.
The mental part.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, I got to stop. No, it's like, hey, I got to stop and I got to make sure I get 8 yards, not 5, not 6, 8 yards and turn around. So to me, I think it's some of that part of the game that Amon excelled at that really allowed him to like flourish again. When you have guys that are more playing off of instincts because they know, hey, this is the route, this is a slant. I'm saying, hey, what is my route? Trying to double check and kind of being in their own mind. I think that's when guys excel, and that's what I think one thing that really helped him on was he was just playing fast because he knew the playbook like the back of his hand.
Yeah, and that's a big South Florida thing, honestly. Like a lot of guys are just so talented that they'll just go out there and just go crazy.
Yeah, it is. No, it is, and that was one thing like that I was really on Sam Bruce about. RIP to him, but. When me and Sam were there, I was working a lot with the second unit. Obviously, Brad was with the ones. But there was times where like he would be open, but he's running the wrong route. I'm like, you have a slant, not an out route. So you'd have routes almost go into each other. And to me,
you have to understand what the whole concept is.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing. Like for him is like Sam, like you're physically gifted. Like we agree, no one out here can cover you.
Probably the single best route runner I've seen.
It just in and out the breaks were just the transition was crazy. But it's like you gotta know where to be because again, like even though you're open, the guys like about your other receiver outside is about to run into you. So again, I think that's where guys when you have an athlete like Sam and a guy like Braxton that's kind of next to him saying, hey, this is your route, this is kind of what helps you. Yeah. I think that's where you get teams that go above and beyond kind of where they should be, especially like a young talented kid. But yeah, I think Amon was built different, but. I think a lot of it was his mindset. Obviously, physically gifted, guy can jump and run, but the way he ran routes, the understanding of kind of where the ball should be. There's a couple times where like he did a good job of like protecting the football that most time receivers don't understand, kind of that part of the game.
Yeah. So what are you doing up now? You're coaching in Tampa, right?
Yeah, so I do a couple different things. So I train quarterbacks really in Tampa, Naples, and Miami. So I have
I didn't know you were training guys down here too.
Yeah, so okay. I have a pretty good group here. And then
Dude, you just drive back and forth. Mm-hmm. Damn, dude, that's a
what's the name of your company so we can people can check it out? You never know.
Maybe so it's Quarterback Country. So I'll give you guys kind of a background. They've been around since like 2010. Long story short, for a lot of the guys, especially in the ACC, AJ McCarron, obviously myself, we have Drake May, Bo Nix, we have Ty Simpson, the backup at Alabama. We worked with Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, working with Devin Leary this year. So we have a big group of guys, and I basically run the state of Florida. So we're in like North Carolina, Alabama, Georgia. We're all over, which I really like. If I'm training a kid in Florida, and let's say he commits to like Georgia Tech, well, then my kid will train with just QB Country Atlanta. So we still have a quarterback coach, or even he goes to NC State, he'll train with QB Country, North Carolina. So it's really cool the fact that
you have that whole area.
Yeah, and we all kind of, and again, all of us are a little different. You know what I mean? They say they want robots. So like we have base drills, like, hey, these are our warm up drills. This is kind of what we're going to do to make sure our bodies are warm. But then, they kind of let us be creative with like individual drills, routes, and things of that nature, which I really like. So like Emory trained with QB Country Mobile. Now that he's in Florida, he trains with me. Judd was with QB Country Atlanta. Now that he's in Miami, he'll start training with me. Same kind of thing with Luke Nichols. Luke Nichols he's from Atlanta as well. And when he comes down, if he wants, like, I'll definitely be here to train him. So it's a unique concept that, something that, at least for me, like we only, especially when I was in high school, we only had Mobile. And I think maybe Mobile in Birmingham. And now we're all over. We're in Texas, New Jersey, Mississippi, Tennessee. So it's really unique to see kind of everyone come together. Because again, I was one of like the guys. I don't say started, but like definitely was like growing up kind of in it when it was only in one site.
Yeah. I see the clips all the time. Was that Mac Jones no look pass? That was QB Country?
So that wasn't QB Country. So Mac's from Texas, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So he has another guy that he trained with. But when Mac was coming out for the NFL draft prep, Mac trained with us.
Yeah, because that clip went crazy.
Yeah, that clip was crazy.
I don't know why you would necessarily train that. That was kind of you're kind of just opening up yourself.
I mean,
to
a lot of guys are starting to do that. I mean, I think that's like the new wave. I've even seen some guys talk about, throwing out more sidearm because they see certain guys do it. Like
that's different than no look.
Yeah, no, it is. But
like I do sidearm, I could see like off like if you're throwing like a
but they're teaching like they're not even teaching RPOs no more. They're teaching just like I guess the Patrick Mahomes sidearm stuff.
Really?
Like, yeah, so it's one of the big things now.
I see it like as a reaction to someone in your face.
So that's how I am too. But people are teaching like they're like, oh, like it just helps create that flick. Like if you get a little more sidearm, it's big on like, and people are kind of big on that.
Maybe a little bit, but like
some people. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. So I think it is unique to actually being quarterback coach, and still allows me to like be out there. One thing that when I was in high school, I was growing up. It's funny. A lot of people that at least where I'm from, if you weren't in sports in Mobile. A lot of people were doing drugs, to be honest with you. And so when I was growing up, my baseball coach always talked about something called like a natural high. So basically like, hey, whether it's, football, it can be music, it could be kind of this podcasting, but a place you kind of go to where nothing matters, your problems don't matter. You can have a bad day at work. But whenever you step on the field, like everything's gone. You're only focused on kind of where you're at. And I think that, whenever I lost football, not playing no more, the quarterback country has really helped me kind of have that, whether I have a bad day at work, I get off, I'm out there with the kids running around having fun. Like nothing matters.
You're on the
field. Those 2 or 3 hours. And so
of course.
It's one of the things that I really enjoy. It's something that, I think there's a certain part of me that like, I don't, not saying I want to give up football, but like if I can help others and still be a part of football in some way, I think that's kind of where I'm called at right now.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it, bro. I probably, I guess that's what makes football so special, man, because it puts you in a situation where you can't think about anything else, especially like a contact sport. Like the consequences are so high if something goes wrong with injuries, whether it's your brain or your body or like just physical pain, that it's this kind of fight or flight war, kind of like primitive hunting part of your brain where it's like you physically, if you think about something else, you're done. And I guess, I don't know, man, maybe that's why I love it so much. It's cool, but I like things that put me in that state, like a really, really hard workout in the weight room where I'm just dripping, like heavy leg day. I'm like, you're just in the moment. Cause like otherwise, dude, I'm just on my phone reading some like mean comments or some shit.
Yeah, see, me and you are different.
Really, bro? I live for that shit.
I was strong in the weight room. I hated the weight room.
Not a weight room guy.
Really?
I was not a weight room guy.
More in the
and
dude,
I was
that's
strong
my
as fuck.
therapy, bro.
I mean, I was strong, and like I would say this, I liked it, but at least when we was at Miami, like they like mudded us. Like I'm about to walk out.
I love that, though.
I'm about to walk out and puke. Yeah, and like I think it's good sometimes, but like we did it every time. Like we supersetted everything. And I'm talking about like we had Swayze, and Swayze was coaching like, he had the 2001 national championship team. He had all the natty team.
For real?
Yeah, and then we switched guys because there was some technical stuff that happened. Like there was a test that you have to take, and Swayze didn't like apply in time. So technically he got fired, and they hired a new guy, and he couldn't get it. It was wild. But long story
weird if you're a
short,
legend, like, dude.
Yeah.
Who cares about some random certification?
well, like you have to have it.
Oh,
it's
you
by
have to have
NCAA. Yeah, it's like NCAA testing
okay.
or something along those lines. And so he missed it, and so like he had to take it before he can like actually be hired again, like at an institution.
Yeah.
So he hired another guy, and this guy was huge on like supersetting. So like, I mean, let's say I do power clean, right? And like for me, like my power clean, like I would do like 225, 245, 255.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I was strong.
A good power clean.
My
dude.
power clean was like
That's
315.
That's a good ass power clean.
That's good
315.
Parkland.
Yeah.
That's good.
God damn.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like we would do that, and then like let's say like okay, I did my sets like in between. I want like a quick breather. No, you were planking, you were squatting, you were wall sitting. Like you just
like a no rest kind of.
yeah, and like I'm now I love working out because I set my own pace. I kind of get in my own zone. But like when I feel like I'm getting yelled at because I'm trying to catch my breath and I'm not planking or wall sitting, like I want to punch you in the face. Like get out my face. So that's kind of where it was like they mudded us sometimes, and I really pissed me off. But
was that Navy SEAL training y'all did?
No, we just had a guy named Gus Felder that just that was his big thing. Was they were big on supersetting. It was
Brad said something about like y'all were in the water or something.
We did some Navy SEAL stuff. I would say my freshman year that didn't go as well because Eric Flowers tried to fight one of the one-armed Navy SEALs guy.
Wait, what? Wait, you got to tell me this story, bro.
So like something happened, and I'll be honest with you, Eric Flowers probably had one of the worst attitudes on the team, and not necessarily where he was like mean or anything, but just like if he didn't want to do it, he wasn't doing it. Like he didn't care if you were the head coach, he didn't care if he was a Navy SEAL guy. Well, long story short, this Navy SEAL guy was like, get up and run, and he was like, no. He's like, get your ass up and run. He was like, F no, like I'm not running. Like you can't tell me what to do. And the guy got in his face, and Eric basically grabbed him, and and they Navy SEALs had to like break everything up. But Eric Flowers is like
he's a big ass dude.
That's what I'm saying. 6'7". I'm like, you think that guy's gonna back down? And the Navy SEAL guy was maybe like 5'8", 5'9".
You said he had one arm?
He had one arm.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's a disadvantage, dude.
yeah, very much.
And he's also 5'8".
But I tell you what though,
But he's tough as shit. He probably knows how to fight.
When the arm is cut, technically the in part is numb. So like the jabs would be crazy.
He was jabbing with it?
No, they weren't fighting. But I'm saying if he did, well, because I had a friend, so I had a center in high school that he had a cut off pinky. Oh. And so like he used to be like, yeah, my pinky always hits people in the face mask, but I never feel it. It's like when his hands hit it.
There's no nerves.
There's no nerves there.
Whoa. So why do you have to cut off his pinky? It's like he broke it or something? Or
something like that. Yeah, it was a long time ago. He said it was from a young age, but yeah, he had like the top part like here sawed off.
At least it's your pinky.
Yeah, it wasn't that
I almost
bad.
lost mine too.
Really? Sorry to hear that.
Nah,
We're
it's fine.
still bent.
It's just crooked.
He got the offensive lineman hand. That's how you see some old linemen when they get old.
Literally.
Hands just all beat up and broken.
LeBron toes for my fingers, dude.
That's crazy. Navy SEALs training. So then, dang, I don't
Wait,
know.
he still went first round though, which is
He
interesting.
did.
Right.
Yeah,
Is that why he didn't pan out? Probably just character stuff.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like athletic ability, size. I mean, he was flat out a freak. But I just remember times where like he was like, "Oh, we're doing this drill." Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm going to get
That's so
water.
crazy, bro. Like, how do you have that attitude?
I mean,
and also like, how do you not do your research as a GM and take someone first round?
yeah, but at that point, to be
Or
honest
they
with you,
they thought they were gonna fix it or something.
yeah, that's how a lot of it is. I mean, it's kind of like why do you draft like an Anthony Richardson? And I think the guy's going to be really good in the NFL. But you're talking about like tape wise, like to me, like he was probably a second, third rounder. But athletic ability, some of those stuff definitely pushed him up very high. And it's kind of the same thing with Eric. There was just some stuff that
But
like
AR, I don't think has like the character issues though. So I'm saying like that. Like I don't know how you're gonna fix that.
Yeah.
Like AR seems like a great guy.
No, AR is a great guy. I mean, yeah, they said he was the last guy to leave whenever they had that event, and to me that is a huge character.
I wonder how much I wonder if they ever set some of that stuff up because I know Caleb, they like filmed him doing it because I know he was getting like a lot of bad press. And like I love Caleb, dude. Like everyone hates on him. I'm always defending him, but I'm like I always wonder, bro, if they hire like PR team, they're like, yo, like just stay here and
For sure.
we'll just record it.
For sure. Knowing those
But
guys.
no, but he's a good. He would do it. I'm just kind of like a funny.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think Eric was just like. Again, I've met people way worse than Eric, but I think if there was one thing about him, he definitely had anger issues.
Oh, that too. Yeah, just fighting and shit.
Just snap, yeah. And I will say, and it was one thing that I think our just about your offensive line had in general. And you can ask Brad about it. Inside run drill, so we went 7-on-7, but it was like instead of it being like offensive like skill guys, it was offensive line, tight end, fullback, running back. Okay. That was inside run 7-on-7. So like there's no passing. It's literally just stretch, power, counter, and inside zone. So it's just a whole bunch of like smash mouth football.
Yeah.
Every day there was at least 2 or 3 fights.
Every single day.
Every single day. It got so bad to where we had to call like a team meeting, and the coach was like, if you guys fight again, I'm kicking you guys off. Because it was like 6-7 weeks running. I'll never forget during the bowl game, The only people that didn't fight was me, Brad, and maybe the 2 or 3 kickers. Everybody else was fighting.
Every single person on the team.
Yeah, so it was a bowl game. Duke Johnson was resting, and so it was when like whenever the backups kind of go in, it's like, hey, it's the first week of bowl, first week of practice, like all the starters are gone. Brad was obviously a freshman. We're like, hey, Brad, we're gonna give Malik some reps. And so I'm in there, handing the ball off to Joe Yearby. I kind of like run off to the sideline. It was like my last play. And I turn around, and it's a full-on fight. So Demetrius Jackson had basically body slammed Joe Yearby by like where the river used to be at in practice. So we body slammed him there on like one of the fields. So he did it, and when he did, all you see is Duke Johnson go sprinting across, buckle his chin strap, and he basically uppercutted D-Jax, but with his helmet.
Whoa.
So like he ran, and he jumped, and the top of his head hit D-Jax's chin. And when it did, all this happened like right on the defensive sideline. So they just saw their freshman defensive tackle just get laid out. And D Jackson get hits and he just falls. Boom. Go straight back. Full-on brawl happens. You see the whole offensive line go running. Duke's in the middle of the fight. So, Duke and Eric Flowers are like that. So it's still Eric's going running. So then Feliciano's going running. So then Shane, it was just like everyone was fighting. I remember seeing Stacey Coley throwing punches. Again, the only people that wouldn't fight, it was like me and Brad are looking at each other like, yo, like what is this? Like, I've seen like one-on-one fight, but it was literally the entire team. Like, I've never seen anything like that. I low-key wish somebody would have recorded it. I don't think I had the video, but like it was a full-on team brawl.
I've never seen that at a practice. Like usually it's like 2-3 guys and like and then it's like within like a few seconds, everyone kind of the whole team's nuts.
Entire team. Yeah, because
it was just like O versus D kind of.
Basically, yeah, it was because again, it happened on the defensive sideline, and as you have Duke basically uppercutting D-Jax, you see the offensive lineman come running because again, Eric knows what's up. So as soon as Eric sees Duke going, Eric's doing the same thing, buckling up his chin strap, and he's sprinting across.
Dude, Eric sounds like a nut, bro.
It was, and then we had some other guys. There was a guy named Taylor Gabois, absolute psychopath at like 6'8", but just freak of nature, left tackle. But again, we just had guys to me that just like. They took that whole like warrior mentality, like legit, like they just love to fight,
which is good for ball, I guess.
It is, but it's also
if you channel it in the right direction.
Yeah, and they sometimes they did, and again they just I don't like it. I'm just gonna hit you in the mouth, and they literally meant that they were gonna fight right there. And then we had guys that would like break fingers because they're punching guys in the face mask.
Yeah, dude, I bet hella guys got hurt.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. But that was one reason why I had to stop was because guys started getting hurt. Because guys, again, when that big brawl happened, you guys getting rolled up on, piled up on,
dude. And it's like bowl prep, bro. Like that's insane.
Yeah, no,
did you guys win that game?
No. We went out to we went out to what was it? It was in Louisiana, Shreveport.
Oh, I heard that place sucks.
Yeah, it did. And we lost like South Carolina. I'll never forget the speech we got from Al Golden was, guys, we're set up for a passive destiny. Alabama came here 2 years ago. They won this bowl game and they won a natty. If we win this game, we're gonna win a natty. And we lost. We were like, yeah, we ain't win no natty next year. We're done. So that was pretty funny. So I'll never forget that bowl game for sure. My first couple years, we played in some very terrible bowl games, to be honest with you. I think we went to Shreveport, and then we went to like some small city in Mississippi.
Those are sad, bro. At least like the cool cities and like they did Pinstripe this year, which is like
I was the Pinstripe. Yeah, my two were good. I had the Pinstripe and I had the Orange Bowl the 2 years I played. So
okay,
Orange Bowl was hype.
Orange Bowl was nice. I mean, it kind of, I would say sucked, but it was kind of different for us because we stay here. I think we went up north to like Aventura area, so it was nice. But yeah, we basically
kind of want to travel though.
Yeah,
you like see some, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely like to travel, to be honest with you. Yeah, most of the time it was kind of cool because like even after the bowl game, especially when we played like in like Central America or like the West Coast, me and David would just go to California with Brad. So it was always nice to go to LA.
Oh, yeah.
Spend time with him. Love his mom. His mom was definitely famous for By Felicia.
I know, dude. Yeah, she moved out to Texas.
Yeah, he told me she's growing her own plants. She's very healthy, organic.
They got a ranch out there.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely happy for her because again, like I love California. I say I love the state, but I think some of the people are a little unique and different. But I think Texas more fits her. They're all about self-growing, self-improvement, and she's very much for that. So, and she was great. Even when she was at Miami, I will say like she was unique just because like, and she was just passionate for Brad. But she would come to every game. So like home or road, she was there.
That's awesome.
And she was the first person to give us a hug. Sometimes she would give him a kiss. Yeah, but she'd give us a hug when we got off the bus, which was really cool. And I liked that. At first it was kind of weird because I was like, I don't really know you. But then again, the more I learned Brad and learned about her, I was like, okay, she's just a loving person. She, she's this is just who she is. And so Again, I mean, at least for me, like I've met parents that are more about like them and what they can get out of like, oh, I want the publicity, I want my son because he's a starter.
Yeah.
And she didn't really want that. She was more, just being there for Brad because again, like I didn't think about it at the time, but Brad was from California. He's in Miami. He's not around family. Like it was hard for me going from Alabama to Florida. I can imagine California to Florida, and the fact that she was there, the first person that he saw get off the bus, it was something that was really unique that they kind of had that I've like never experienced, and so hats off to her for definitely being there for him.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, dude, I'm jealous. The ranch life is cool, man.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of just tired of like the big city or like LA kind of vibes.
Yeah,
A lot of people leave in LA.
a lot of people. Well, I mean that and the taxes just like
It's just so expensive.
yeah, state
It's
taxes
just crazy
it's
expensive.
crazy there. Yeah, Texas has no state tax.
Yeah,
you can.
I mean, it makes sense if you want to be in film, just to be around everyone. And obviously, like
A lot of
she had
companies
a
are
great
moving
career
there too, though.
We're moving out. You're saying?
They're moving to Texas.
Yeah.
and,
Which makes
and
sense.
down here,
Yeah.
and down here.
Down here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is like down here is gonna get harder just because you can't buy land. When you're talking about like bigger companies
Yeah,
that
you
want to
can't really
like,
expand landlocked.
Yeah,
so you
like-
can't really go anywhere. So
At least
you
like-
have to go
yeah.
up. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can go slightly west.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the buildings are probably gonna just get higher, kind of like New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't
Yeah.
know if
Yeah, but when you talk about a company that does like, especially like any type of like infrastructure, they got to build. Texas is going to be better because then they can buy massive lands for really cheap. I think they even have like tax breaks and things for like corporations, so they're trying to get people.
Yeah, that's what they're doing here.
Yeah,
we
trying to
talked
get
to
people to move in.
Suarez, the mayor.
Yeah.
We did a little pod with him, and he was talking about that.
Yeah,
safest city in America,
baby.
Miami. That's what he told me. I was like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he fixed the homeless issue.
Jesus.
He said he's working on it. I mean, it's better than
It's
LA.
actually
better than LA. When I
I
went
mean,
to
listen,
LA,
I don't even like talking politics, but I will say that the money we sent to Ukraine, we could have ended homelessness 10 times over in the U.S.
Yeah. Dude, that stuff's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and we're still trying to send more money over there.
Bro, it's absurd.
Which I'm all
I saw
about
a
people.
stat where it's like you could have given every homeless veteran $2 million.
Something crazy.
really?
Yeah. And again, like I'm all about protecting others, but also feel like
What about us?
it's not like, what about us? We have enough issues internally
Yeah.
that you know what I mean. It's like can we fix our own issues before like we step out and like
It's
try
like
to,
on a personal level, if like you had a bunch, like you didn't have your life figured out and then you're trying to give everyone else advice.
yeah, or
it's
even
like,
like
get
money,
your
like
right
you know,
shift.
like you're living basically like paycheck to paycheck, but then every extra cash you're giving, you're basically giving away to someone else. It just makes internally hard. So, yeah, it could be interesting to see what happens, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I like talking politics. Sometimes I don't. I just
Yeah,
know about
I
like
know.
that, like the homelessness. Like that's one thing that definitely aggravates me. Whenever you see certain stats like that, that like we have enough to basically fix
Yeah.
our issues. We just tend to other people's. And again, I'm all about helping others. Why? Like I work with kids. I mean, I work with kids that are 10 years old. I love giving back. But also, if I'm not straight, how can I help someone else? I think that's kind of the issue that I have with some of it.
Dude, I agree. It's absolutely insane. Have you been to Skid Row? Like, have you seen how crazy it is?
I have not.
Really?
I'm not.
Dude, it's an entire community just of homeless people. Like,
So
if, it's
aren't
literally
they like banning it now from like public property?
in Florida.
Like,
in Florida. Yeah, like DeSantis just he just did that.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, LA is bad. I went up there, been in LA like once, but the homeless population is actually insane.
So like I want to go to San Francisco.
I was
but
just
heard-
there.
but I heard San Francisco.
It wasn't as bad.
I've heard some bad. Like,
I've
stories.
heard some terror. Like
Stories.
Dude,
Dude,
yeah, there was one girl that told me she was eating with her mom, and then she was outside by the side, like outside on like the edge, and she was there was like a sidewalk beside her. She said this homeless guy like just took a shit right beside her,
Yeah.
like while she was eating. And
peeing right beside while you're walking.
Yeah,
while
like
you're
they-
walking.
they don't-
One girl just like he just whips out and just starts peeing right on the wall. In front
Really?
of her.
Yeah, they
That's
should.
up?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
really
San
don't care.
Francisco
Yeah, I
was
heard it's
crazy.
bad.
Was this
I was
recent though? Because I went 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
and
this,
it
this was like
wasn't
a year
bad.
and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Me
it's
too.
I think it's
Mine's
gotten
almost
better
3 years
because
ago.
in my head I had these crazy stories.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
these
I
same
had
ones,
too.
and it wasn't like that. At least the area, or I don't know, maybe I was only there a few days, but I think maybe it was also like the difference between like what I had in my head and then what I actually saw. But I was like, dude, this place isn't that bad. Or maybe it's just in the past year they've fixed a lot of things. I know when they had the president of China come, they kind of like fixed everything for like a day.
That's funny. Have you been out in LA?
Yeah. Well, I went
I know it's USC.
yeah,
Where'd you like? I was asking. Where'd you like to go?
like to go out.
Yeah.
Santa Monica.
Okay.
So like that's more your like chill bar vibes.
Yeah.
I never really went out to clubs in LA.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I
He's
went out-
lying. He partied all the time.
No, I mean we'd
He
go
didn't
to
focus on
bars.
school. He just partied and
We'd go to
partied.
bars. No. So like COVID was fun. I mean, yes and no, because LA was, as you know, like just crazy, like block, but we made the best out of it. So we kind of had like the football house out there for SC. So it was like underground parties. So it'd be like the football, like we would just have our own stuff, and like we'd get in trouble a bunch because you weren't allowed to have parties. And then you can drive down to Orange County. Okay. And Orange County was all wide open. So like sometimes we would just mob up. It's like saying like going up to Fort Lauderdale, like 45 an hour or whatever. But no, we made the best out of it, dude. It was a blast. Okay. It was great.
Yeah, I went to some clubs there. Definitely very different than Miami. A lot of people like standing around looking.
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I don't like the standing around looking. Like, can y'all dance? Can you enjoy?
Yeah,
like
you're
here. Like, so.
But I mean, I think Miami's starting to kind of get like that too. I think.
Where do you go out?
Yeah, I was gonna say, depends on where you go. Where do you go?
Everyone has a section, so it's like.
Okay, so you go to clubs. I don't go to clubs no more.
Not really.
You got to go to Wynwood.
What bar? Where do you go?
I know time you want. You going to Wynwood?
I know where to go. I know where to go.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I kind of bar hop. I don't know where I'm going tonight, but probably going for Lauderdale. But yeah, usually in Wynwood, I can't remember. There was one bar that Little Pump went to. I actually hosted an event at it. Has like all the little like
Pilos?
Yeah, Pilos.
Pilos is cool. It's a little bit small. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice little inside.
Real calm.
So I like Pilos, and there's another one like right across the street from Pilos.
Racket,
across. Racket's beside.
Yeah.
There's another one like literally like right across the street.
I know you're talking about. It's like outdoor.
Yeah, that one's pretty fun. My boys.
That one's smooth.
Yeah, I got some boys down here that they run a like basically like party event, more like day drinking stuff. But they do a lot of stuff in Wynwood, so whenever I go out, I usually go with them. Again, it's a lot more fun. People are just like dancing, having fun. You don't have to worry about like kind of who's there. That's more what I like to do instead of like standing up, having bottles, and people just basically
worrying about who has a better section.
Yeah, that or like
wasting money on people you might not even see the next day.
Or you have the girls that just like puppy dog eye you as you're like drinking, trying to get in the section. I'm like, bro, like. I don't know why you looking at me. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good, shawty. Stay over there.
she like me? Nah. Me and my friend? Like, nah.
That's the worst, bro.
Yeah. Nah, it is. I mean, that's really why I don't really go out there, to be honest with you. And like, I mean, I know plenty of guys too that, you know, they'll drop bags and then they go on to work next week and they're struggling financially. So it's like a lot of that stuff too is fake. You know, you see a lot of stuff.
Renting cars, like that's like
definitely superficial. You know what I mean? Here, it's everyone's like, listen, just stay in your lane. You still have fun. Like, again,
you can have a great time.
And it's all about, I think here, it's all about who you know.
Again, 100.
For me, like me and Mo go out, we'll probably maybe spend maybe $100 for the weekend or maybe something like that and have
a great time.
Max and go to like whatever, a couple bars and have a good time and meet a lot of people. And
I think that's how it should be. I mean, yeah, I think half the problem is when people come here, they just think about big name stuff. So like Live, Rockwell, all the big name clubs. But again,
never been to Live.
Really? It's okay.
It's I just never saw the hype.
Yeah, like I mean, unless you like dolled up girls that are like half plastic. Yeah, it's not really my type.
11's fun.
11 is fun.
11's cool. 11's cool. You got your 11 respect.
You ever been to Booby Trap on the River?
Not yet.
You gotta go. That one's different.
I've heard. Trust me. You know, that
one's different.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I've definitely heard good things about it.
So I went there last year during Art Basel. Met Chance. They had like Future. They had Kodak. They had Cardi. Yeah, I went there like a couple years ago, and actually RIP to him too. But I saw Pop Smoke there.
Oh,
yeah, that was really cool. I didn't even know who he was. There wasn't a lot of people. It was when he was kind of up and coming.
That's fun.
But he actually came out to Booby Trap. It actually made me really like them. I was like, well, at least you guys know artists. Like they play really good music. But
the music. I think the biggest thing for me is like I think obviously it's not always about where you're at, but who you with. So I have a good group with you.
Agreed.
So, but it's also too the music. Because sometimes I don't want to go out and only listen to Bad Bunny. First of all, I don't know what he's saying.
That's in Wynwood.
I don't know what he's saying.
Malik's trying to get them Latinas, bro.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
I like a little bit of both. You know what I mean? I want to hear a little bit of trap
Wynwood's a lot
music.
of Latin girls, huh? It's like mostly because I went to one bar was only Spanish music. It was like literally I'm like. And like I speak Spanish, but I don't listen to Spanish music. So I'm like, I just couldn't get in the vibe of it, the feel. Like I don't know how to dance to Bad Bunny. I'm not.
So
really...
I would say the biggest thing is I don't necessarily think about the words. I more try to feel the energy and the beats. Yeah,
I agree. That's all I can do. I don't know what they're saying, so I gotta.
It's hard, bro. If I don't know the song, it's just kind of hard.
Yeah, no, I agree, and like I'll just say, at least for me, like especially, I did this more once I graduated. When I went to Winwood a lot, you start learning the songs, and they start to replay. And
you know all them songs out.
No, I know a good amount. Now they have new songs that I haven't really been to. I haven't probably been to Winwood in like a year or so. But yeah, if I had to go out somewhere, it's either Winwood or honestly
what
here,
about
like
Brickell. I like Brickell.
I like Brickell.
Brickell's real cool.
Big fan of Moxie's.
Okay.
You go there?
Yeah, I was
No,
just,
Sugar.
Yeah,
We go to Sugar.
go to Moxie's.
I was just there last week. Actually, a couple days ago.
Moxie's?
Yeah,
Nice,
I
yeah.
remember I went with.
Food's good, bar's nice. There's
food's
actually pretty
good.
girls in there too.
It's cool.
Yeah,
Real
it's
calm.
nice. Yeah, it's a nice vibe.
Brickell's
I'm a
cool.
Moxie's fan.
Brickell's chill.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like Brickell.
definitely gotta get a little dressed up though. You can't like you go to Winwood, you can wear shorts. I mean, not shorts. Jeans and a t-shirt. What I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can do that in Brickell, but they may look at you,
Sideways
sideways a little bit, depending on
Yeah, I mean that definitely happens, but it's Miami.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
but yeah, it depends all about what you like, man. But
Yeah, big fan of Winwood. I will shout out to all the clubs and bars in Winwood.
Have you gone out in Texas?
I have Houston.
How was it?
I liked it a lot. At least in Houston, they're very big on like hookah lounges.
Okay.
And so there's hookah everywhere. But I would say Houston probably has some of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, because like here, like there are a lot of Hispanics, obviously, but like in Texas, especially Houston, there's a lot of like, it's a lot of like black and Hispanics.
Yeah.
So like they got like the black girl butt, but they look Hispanic, so it's just like it's different. It's different, bro. They're different in Texas. I give them that. They're different.
That's
in
what
Texas.
I like Dallas, dude. We did our bowl game there for
Dallas.
What game was it? Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we got to go out a few nights, and it was good vibes, bro. It was more, it was like very beautiful women, but they didn't have like the baggage of like the Miami superficial vibe. They were more like low key. And Dallas is a big city, obviously, but it wasn't like, it was a different vibe.
Yeah. So Scotty likes Dallas a lot. Yeah, because he was at A&M, and he said that he used to drive across basically from College Station over to Dallas. I think it was like an hour and a half. Wasn't far at all. So he said like Dallas, like said a lot of beautiful women out there.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
Never been to Texas.
I heard a lot of tall, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Let's go, sign me up.
That's it.
Let's go.
And I like those, but I'll be honest with you, I've dealt one before, and they're
Wasn't it?
yeah, no, they're a lot.
Really?
Beautiful, like gorgeous, like absolutely, like stills a show, but just like a lot to handle.
Yeah.
So I stick. I mean, and Latins are crazy, but they're at least like
Dude, Lions are probably way crazier than him.
yeah, but they're more like I can deal with you being crazy because you're in love. I can't deal with like crazy because just like past issues. Like there's a difference.
Yeah,
Like I've at least dealt with Latinos that were crazy, but that's just because they were just like crazy in love. Like
Right.
themselves. Like, yeah, super passionate. Like I can deal with that because I can at least understand where it comes from. Like if it's from past issues I don't know about, I can't help you with that.
Like random anxiety or something.
Yeah, some stuff like that. And again, like I don't mind it, but like at least let me know so I can try to help you. Don't like
Right.
I will say like I think the most beautiful eyes definitely blue eyes. So blonde hair, blue eyed girls definitely are attractive to me. I just have some more issues with that that I tend to stay away from.
Yeah,
for now,
a little PTSD there.
Yeah, stay away from them. Probably best.
Yeah, man. Well, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, brother.
And joining the show. It's always
you
good
guys
to
for having me.
have Kane's family up here.
Yeah, and hopefully we can do this again. But I definitely appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, bro, you're killing it on the content stuff too.
Yeah,
Shout out
trying to get more into that. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I own 2 other companies, so I've been like doing a ton with that. But I definitely really enjoy the content side. I think it's something that's.
Do you want to would you want to do that full time if it came to it?
Yes and no. Like I think it's something that
because this fan base, like I was sorry to cut you off, but I think you can, and because this fan base is so freaking passionate and. Like obviously, like you play quarterback and you're so knowledgeable about like the system and like all these guys. Like those breakdowns that you do are huge. Like they love it.
No, I appreciate you.
And that's like I watch some of them on YouTube. Like they're very informative.
No, I appreciate you. Yeah, it's something that I definitely got into. Yeah, I mean, if I can get to the point, especially like I've been trying, but we'll see.
It's hard. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. And my biggest thing is more the editing side. Like that's
you have to find an editor.
Well, yeah, right now I'm doing my own editing. So that's been like my biggest learning
that's how I
curve
started off.
was like,
Yeah.
you know, editing my own stuff, trying to figure out like what's cool to edit, how to get overlays.
Yeah.
And then again, I do quarterback training. I own a company called Kiddo Kinetics, which is in Orlando.
Yeah.
Me and my business partner, we have another company. So it's like trying to like fit everything into my schedule.
Yeah.
Has been hard. But again, I enjoy it and it's something that I definitely want to get better at and do more of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate
thank you,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.